In vitro versus in vivo. In February 2020, Chinese scientists reported the result of their experiments looking at existing drugs that might be effective against coronavirus. 5 drugs were tested in vitro and found promising results for 2, remdesivir and chloroquine. Note, there is a big difference between a drug showing promise in a laboratory and working in patients. In France, a trial showed significant results in reducing viral loads for patients treated with a combination of hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin. This underwent peer review and publication in the International Journal of Antimicrobial Agents. Numerous problems with this study design and the way it was reported. The researchers downplayed the critical outcomes, i.e., whether or not the patient improved, got worse or died, and instead based their analysis on measuring how long a patient was shedding the virus, i.e., whether the researchers were able to detect its presence from a nasal swab. All of the 4 patients with clear bad outcomes, 3 went to the ICU and 1 died, received hydroxychloroquine but were excluded from the viral shedding analysis. The researchers said that the remaining patients who received the drug shed the virus for a shorter duration. The professional association affiliated with the IJAA has said that the article does not meet the Society's expected standard and the publisher has initiated additional independent review. Back to China. In early April 2020, Chinese scientists published a study looking at 62 patients with mild cases of COVID-19. The study showed a statistically significant difference in the time it took 2 groups to recover, with patients who received hydroxychloroquine showing shorter periods of fever and cough. Note that in this study, the number of patients were very small and did not include any patients with severe or critical illness. In a retrospective analysis of patient data from France, researchers selected a cohort of patients who received the drug and an equivalent cohort who did not and then compared their outcomes. In a posted preprint in April, researchers found no evidence that HCQ was an effective treatment when comparing 84 patients who received the drug and 97 who did not. Note that retrospective analyses are not a substitute to RCT and that the paper has also not been peer-reviewed. In a trial in Brazil, a group of researchers posted a preprint revealing that they called a halt to a clinical trial of HCQ at high doses after they observed a high rates of arrhythmias and a large number of deaths. The researchers strongly recommended that physicians no longer use the high dose of the drug. Researchers found the higher dose, which they chose because it was recommended by Chinese authorities, to be unsafe, but they are continuing to test the efficacy of a lower dose. Their paper has not yet been peer-reviewed. In the US, in a retrospective analysis of US veterans, researchers looked at the outcomes for 368 patients who were treated for COVID-19 in the country's Veterans Health Administration hospitals. The patients were broken into 3 groups: those who received HCQ, those who received HCQ and azithromycin, and those who did not receive HCQ. They found that HCQ, with or without azithromycin, did not reduce a patient's need for a ventilator or reduce the risk of death. They also found that those who received HCQ alone had a higher risk of death than those who did not. U.S. government recommendations. A panel of experts put together by the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, the agency led by Dr. Anthony Fauci, released treatment guidelines for COVID-19 on April 21. The panel said that there was insufficient data to recommend either for or against HCQ or chloroquine. However, the panel recommended against the use of HCQ with azithromycin due to the risk of cardiac arrhythmia. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to my videos.